Hey friends, this is Jasmine, and I hope that you all are doing well. I wanted to bring something to attention here. Last night, it came to my attention that there is a Facebook page called Stand Against Witchcraft, and there's a lot of very horrific things on this page. And I think that some people in our community are not necessarily really taking this seriously. And while it is easy to laugh at, it is a serious matter and something that should be addressed when we are talking about interfaith issues. Stand Against Witchcraft is a relatively new Facebook page, and they went to a business that they believe is sinful and leading people to the devil and all of this hateful rhetoric. And they posted a video, which you can view on their Facebook page. At the time of me recording this, it is still up there. And they are praying for, I'm assuming, this person or the building, and trying to essentially colonize and appropriate this space as Christians. And I also want to make it clear that I personally have no issue with Christians or with Christian witches. That is not a path of mine. However, I will respect other people's individual paths. And I think it's also important to note here that they made an attempt to go against pagans as well. These people, in my opinion, are dangerous and are slowly building into what could be considered an actual hate group. So that is why it is so important that we nip this in the bud as quickly as possible and not entertain some of this foolishness and hate. So the person who made the Facebook page, I believe his name is James. I couldn't really find much out about him online. However, his pastor, I believe, Joe, is backing him and supporting him. And Joe has quite the controversy in the community as well, from, refusing to bring his church services onto an online platform and saying, and I have receipts towards the end of this video as well that I will be referencing. But he was saying, that if he's not responsible if someone gets COVID in his congregation, even though he's keeping those doors open. Also, a lot of this rhetoric, I will warn you, is very anti-LGBT. It is very transphobic and homophobic, very problematic. Some of it a bit racist as well. So just kind of bear that in mind. On Stand Against Witchcraft's Facebook page, they were doing a live video, and I happened to come across it, and I immediately was just disgusted. I think it's easy to forget sometimes that this level of hate and fear and intolerance still exists. We very much joke about witch hunting and witch hunters and what it was and what it wasn't, and how that could never exist today. But I think that this is a very good example of what modern day witch hunting is. And some of their targets, because they have targeted 3 separate businesses in an advertisement that they posted, Stand Against Witchcraft, aren't even witches. I actually talked to one of the business owners last night on the phone, and she's not even a witch. She's just a tarot card reader.
Cool. Targeting people. This almost kind of sounds like the mass hysteria of Salem.
While they were doing this live video, they were inviting witches on to their live show with the intention, originally, of, I think, trying to have some sort of dialogue and possibly convert witches and save our souls, so that way we can get to their eternal kingdom. I was one of the witches who jumped onto the podcast, and almost immediately, the show, which is about 3 hours long, I was on for, I believe, a little over an hour. About an hour and 30 minutes of the show was me. And I will be including clips from that show in this video, as well as I was a part of this video. So I don't feel like that is an issue when it comes to any sort of copyright infringements, because that is my person depicted here in this show. So I will be showing clips of that where I was actively defending witches and Satanists from this sort of hatred and bigotry. Now, there are several parts in what I'm going to show you where I had to fast forward or I had to edit things out because, like I said, the show was 3 hours long. However, I have saved the full version. So if anything happens to the original, which I believe is on Joe Westrick's YouTube and also his Facebook page that he's affiliated with and that his church is affiliated with, Stand Against Witchcraft. The video is also posted there and you can also go see it there. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to indulge me and really listen to what I have to say, because I do think as witches, regardless of whether we're satanic or Christian or pagan or whatever, as witches, we really do need to stand together. My intention with this video is not for violence to befall upon anyone involved in this video, including Joe and including James and including their church. That is not the intention of this video. I wish no harm upon them by making this video. I am just trying to display the facts and the research provided for all of you to be able to see and bear witness to. As witches, we don't go around trying to convert people. Most witches, that is not on their agenda. Myself, as a high priestess and as a witch, I have never, ever, in over a decade of being in the craft, gone out and tried to turn somebody into a witch. I have never attempted to lead someone away from their religious beliefs. I believe that there are multiple paths to truth. But that is very much something that this particular church is doing. They are targeting witches and coming for small businesses and attempting to, in my opinion, get these businesses shut down. And these are small mom and pop businesses. And I know that a lot of my friends and community in our local area are like, well, that's not here, that's in Chicago. Chicago is close enough though. And if we allow this to build and not nip it in the bud, it will continue to grow into a potentially more dangerous sect of a hate group. So without any further ado, let's roll the tapes. Incarnations of this misogynistic, patriarchal mess that has literally raped and colonized since the beginning.
Okay. What's up, everybody? I'm Joe. This is my man, James.
Hey.
And I'm the pastor of the church that James goes to. James, tell us a little bit about why you started this Stand Against Witchcraft page, and then what has happened since you went out and started doing some ministry to those who practice witchcraft.
Amen. So it started when I was saved. I was saved from Spiritism cult background, and ever since then, I've just been preparing myself for when it's the time to expose the devil and his lies about witchcraft and Spiritism and everything of the pagan nature. And so one night, a couple months ago, the Lord woke me up in the middle of the night and said, it's your time to go out and start exposing. So then I took that and I started preaching out against Spiritism, and I got lots of backlash from family and friends. And then I was introduced to evangelist John Ramirez, his testimony, and he was known as one of the highest satanics, and in New York City. And, but he was Satan, sorry.
I'm pronouncing some words too. Satanist, yeah.
So he was also saved from that, and he was talking about how when he was saved, he would get a lot of attacks. And that stood out to me because when I was saved, I would get a lot of those attacks, and it just felt like a spirit connection kind of thing, where like it's this like confirmation that I have to go out there and destroy the principalities to expose the truth, and just stop the devil in his tracks, put him back under our feet. And so just me and my wife, we were over in my mother-in-law's part of town, and it just felt like super dark because everything here in Chicago goes down, and so they go out there to the liquor stores and do all this crazy stuff, and so you just feel like just this evil presence over there. And when we're coming back home, we stopped at the post office, and we saw a psychic shop there, and I was like, you know what? I think these places are the reason that the witchcraft and them sending out principalities and doing all these things and lying to people that our city is the way it is, our nation, our world is the way it is because witchcraft and it's the rebellion against God. So I've made it. Me and my wife made it our passion to create a ministry that reaches out to those people and see them saved because we love them all and we want to show them who's the real Father. And so I just created the live feed, and 1 week later and overnight, boom, it just carried off, and like 500 comments later, 100 posts later. I believe 100 posts, don't quote me on it. But yeah, many posts later, and now we're here, and it's just all for the glory of God. And anything that happens from here to there it's all worth it.
Amen. That's a great story. So everybody get this, okay? We are Christians. We believe in the God of the Bible. We believe religions outside of that are false by nature of them being opposite of truth. That's not to be angry. That is to make a truth statement. 2 + 2 is not 5. That's
for over
4.
a decade. For what reason do you have to throw this book at witches like me? I'm not a Christian. I don't serve a false God such as you.
You're not speaking about something I do. I don't pay for, people don't have to pay me for them.
You don't do donations. You don't do anything like that.
We receive donations, but not for prayer.
You do donations.
We do receive donations, yeah.
So do we agree that Jesus was a meditation teacher?
If we're going to call meditation prayer, that he taught prayer, sure.
But he also told us to meditate.
Can you show me that in the scriptures?
I don't have my Bible in front of me.
Okay, if someone can help you, but I know it pretty well, and I don't remember him mentioning meditation. I remember him mentioning prayer.
Prayer, but what about meditate? What about meditate on the words?
That's in the book of Psalms.
Oh, so now you remember.
Yeah. Oh, so you're saying, did Jesus teach? Like I'm thinking in the Gospels, the 4 books that have him teaching on earth. That's what you meant. If you're asking me, does the Bible teach meditation? Absolutely, the Bible does teach meditation.
Okay. So how come, so that's what a lot of us witches do. Do you know what we actually do? Did you know that we're scientifically backed up on the things that we do? Did you know that there's actual frequencies that is scientifically backed up, that crystals and that meditation actually helps you, and yoga helps you? Do you even know a lot of the stuff that we even do? Like we do a lot of holistic care. We make our own medicine. We take herbs, we take plants, we make medicine, we make tinctures that help heal people.
Yep.
That's what we do.
Yeah. So if you're asking me, can I answer the question?
Ask me a question, can I answer it? Sure. Yeah, so am I aware of what you do specifically more? I'm just to meet you. Do I know a lot of what Richard did? Yes, I know the story.
Yeah,
so you think that they're against the word of God?
Yes, you.
So you think we're all against the word of God, but I believe in God and I believe in Jesus.
Okay.
I just don't believe in a Bible that was created and that has so much hatred and so much hypocrisy in it.
Okay. So you believe in the God of the Bible and the Jesus of the Bible, or do you believe in a different version of them?
I believe in a creator. I believe in a creator that created everything.
Okay.
I believe that.
Creator. How did you learn about the creator?
I told you I have Christian roots. We all come from Christian roots.
Okay, so then if you and I both have in commonality Christianity, I get my information about Christianity from the Bible, but you threw the Bible under the bus. That's why I'm trying to figure out, where is your other source of information?
All kinds of history books.
Okay, so you would take a history book written by a man who never knew or walked or lived with Jesus over the apostles who walked and lived and died for Jesus.
But where did you find a Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John in the Middle East? What were their actual names?
The real names, Hebrew names. Matthew is an English word called Matthew. We pronounce it with an M and all these things, but their names were Aramaic and Hebrew. If that's
Okay,
what.
John,
etc.
What were they?
They had
What were they in Hebrew?
Do you want me to teach you or show you the Hebrew names? Are you asking, or do you already know?
No, I'm asking you. I'm asking you to tell me.
Okay. I don't know Hebrew off top. I could look it up for you. Which one do you know?
All of them. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Okay. And then I want to ask you a few questions, okay?
Okay, you do that.
Out here. So Matthew, Hebrew name. We have the New Testament in Greek. So
okay.
So they wrote it in Greek, but this would be his Hebrew name, Mattheyahu. If you want to know the John, I think John is Johanan, but we'll see. Johanan is John's name in Hebrew, but you have to remember our New Testament is Greek, so these are the closest to the original, and that's what I study is the Greek, and then I'll give Mark his Hebrew name. So these were all the authors of the Bible are Hebrew.
But they have Greek names, but they're Hebrew, so they have Greek names.
Yeah, have you ever heard of?
We do shadow work, and it's called duality. So we are dark and light, we are evil, and we are good. So we work every day on shadow on ourselves to make sure that that evil side of us is not coming out.
Got it. So what I want to do is just see, because we're discerning when we do our work of spirituality that we're doing the right work, because I don't want to do something that's evil and call it good because I've been deceived, right? So here,
why do you think that witches and Satanists are so evil? Why do you think that? Did you know that a lot of Wiccans don't even believe in God or Satan? They don't believe in Satan.
It's morality. Let's start right there. Do you believe that sex is only intended for man and woman in marriage?
Oh, so you're against LGBTQ?
Well, I consider it a sin. Love the sinner, hate the sin. But I believe Jesus taught that. That's what I'm asking you. You say you believe in Jesus. Here's the Jesus of the Bible from Mark.
I don't consider that a sin, no.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Yeah, but before you do, I just want to give you this as a heads up. It's not that you can make up, you can make up your own Jesus. That's fine. No.
But you're basing it off of a book that people wrote.
Okay, now remember,
you have not walked with Jesus you haven't walked with him either. So who are you to say from a book? Who are you to say that it was written appropriately? Okay. We all know that the Bible is a metaphor, right? The Bible is metaphoric. Yeah. So you look at the book of Revelation, we're not seeing these beasts coming, are we?
I believe we will.
Lots of history books. There's lots of history books. Jesus has been mentioned. Jesus
says sexual immorality is not a problem.
For me, I got all mine from my family. My family is very into Christianity and stuff like that. But what you can't say that sexual immorality is a sin, but then not say that mixing fabric isn't a sin. Or playing with the skin of a pig isn't a sin. There goes football, right? So you can't have one and not all. So I don't know where you're coming at us with that one.
Yeah. Can I just, in short, explain
why we believe in Old and New Covenant? Because it sounds like you have a Christian upbringing, but
no, because I pretty much rejected Christianity. So, because I'm transgender, so I got Bible thumped my whole life. So that's my look at it.
Okay. Well,
I also, I'm going to say this. So, because I know gay people that are my friends, that are my families, you actually believe that God is going to hate them? And do you actually believe over and over what Christianity is? God's going to hate them?
To caveat off of that too, the Bible says God made us the way we're supposed to be. So are we not supposed to be this way because, are you saying God didn't make us this way?
The Bible gives us a clear indication that there's a difference in covenant. Covenants have laws. This is our teaching, okay? Whether you believe it or not, at least you can understand why we're not prohibiting all those things that are obvious to us in the Old Testament. So I know those scriptures. not to touch a pig, not to mix fabrics, not to eat shellfish. You have to give us at least enough credit that we've read that. Like, we know that is there. We didn't need Jack Black on a Saturday Night Lights getting there from America.
She absolutely
What is with the
can.
obsession, though, with like
Yeah.
sexual organs to begin
Yeah.
I
with?
bring it up.
That's what I
She-
would like to know. And
Hold
also,
on, did I even bring
I've
that
been
up in this
watching this. I've
conversation?
been watching this for a little while, and I'm curious. I am a witch. I am a high priestess. I do follow the LHP, which stands for the Left Hand Path. I do work with Beelzebub and demons of the sort. I
Okay.
do work with Jen. I have a whole channel, which is my
Okay.
name, over on YouTube. So I've been in the occult for over a decade. For what reason do you have to throw this book at witches like me? I'm not a Christian. I don't serve a false god such as you. So
Okay.
why are you preaching this book like it's supposed to have some form of power or fear over a witch like me, or my coven for that matter, or other witches like me? Because sure, some witches don't even recognize the concept of the Holy Trinity of Lucifer, Satan, and the devil. Plenty of witches do, me being one of them. So I've seen some witches, and by the way, shout out to all the witches in the comments. I'm very proud of everyone for
Hell
standing up
yeah.
against this hateful doctrine. Not only that is being preached here tonight, but also what has been said. I mean, people have been raped and colonized and abused in the name specifically of this
Oh,
false god
God.
that you speak of.
Yep. And we condemn that with you, just like you would condemn all of the
How
indigenous
can you?
people and their false gods who dynasties of castes. Okay, we're not doing that here. Now, they brought up homosexuality as a sticking point.
But why are you using your book as a weapon against us when
I mean,
it
there
was
is no
not
weapon.
forged by us?
Hold
We did
on.
not
Let me
subscribe
answer
to
one
that.
question at a time. Let me answer one question at a time. She said she believed in Jesus. So I'm like, okay, let's make sure we have the same Jesus, because that Jesus lived by a moral code.
Sure,
Now-
there are witches out there who are Christian, because also witchcraft, this
Yes.
is a practice. This is
Okay.
a practice. So
I
there are witches
understand
of
you can
all
be a
different
Christian
things.
and a meditationalist. You can be a Christian and a vegan. I get that. And you believe a Christian can also practice witchcraft. But listen to the first question you answered.
I didn't say that. I said there are people who identify as Christian
As
and
Christian.
also say they practice witchcraft.
No,
I am not a
like I said,
Christian and I am not a Christian witch. I am
I
a
don't think you are. I'm
Catholic
saying
witch practitioner and high priestess.
Okay, I understand. I never said you were.
I saw some of that. I saw some of this like hateful, fear-mongering, very similar in my opinion, my perspective. It
Yes.
seems like you guys were on some Westboro Baptist mess, going to people's businesses and
Yeah.
trying to condemn them. When you get up here and you tell people like me that we're going to hell and this and that, first of all, to me, that doesn't even really scare me. It doesn't
It's
strike
witch
fear in my
hunting.
heart. It doesn't strike fear in my heart. I just like
What if you
further
were?
want to distance myself from religious zealots such as yourself, who are the incarnations
Yeah.
of this misogynistic, patriarchal mess
Yeah.
that has literally raped and colonized since the beginning.
Murdered, and you have murdered children.
Hold on, one at a time, please. One at a being evil, because that's my master, that's my savior. Tell me where he's wrong.
That's not what necessarily why I'm here. I'm
Let's
saying
move on to a different point, because it's not going anywhere, because we're talking past each other. You asked me.
I don't think that you're really listening, or
I'm listening
I don't
to-
think you're listening to hear. I think you're listening to speak, and I think you're getting defensive.
No. Here we go. 2 minutes apiece. 2 minutes apiece. You go, and I go right now. Your turn. 2 minutes. Go ahead and speak. I don't want anyone to say I don't let them speak. Go ahead.
I am saying what you're talking about with Zozo, that is one individual. One individual can do all types of things. But from a historical standpoint, no, you do not have the ground or the basis to say that a lot of these atrocities have been done in Satan's name, because no, they haven't. Satanists haven't grouped together and gone and colonized and pillaged and raped and tried to forcefully convert people. And what you are doing is a modern incarnation of that, exactly, in my personal opinion. It's colonizing people's minds. It's misogynistic. It's homophobic. It's hateful. That's not my tea. That's not my brand. And Zozo does not represent the Satanic Church. Zozo does not represent Luciferians. So to like bring one individual in like that, sure, I could talk about Westboro Baptist Church or these wild Catholics and what they're doing. But I'm talking about the religion of Christianity itself, not Methodist, Lutherans, Baptists, this, that. I'm talking about as a whole, Christianity has by far, and all of the Abrahamic faiths, because we can also throw Islam and Judaism in here as well, it's in shambles. And you cannot really compare or compete with the Satanic Church because it's not on the same level. There has not been holy wars fought from a historical standpoint, not from your book standpoint, because we're going based off of recorded history, not just your holy book, because we have holy books too. The Satanic Bible says not to rape and not to force yourself onto people.
And not to harm children.
Yeah, and that is something that you're supposed to stone your daughter if she's not a virgin when she gets married. I'm pretty sure that hoodie you're wearing right there is also mixed fabric.
And do you eat pork?
Whenever there's a chance, I would just like to say something.
Go ahead.
He's speaking, but I think he muted himself because I don't hear him, and he muted me instead.
Oh, oops, sorry. Sorry. Thank you. Sorry, my 2 minutes over again because I was talking mostly to myself. You're missing my point. My point
Is not comparing the size of what was done that was evil. My point is, when we are talking about people with sets of beliefs doing something evil, you are trying to equate that to me. My point
pointing to evils in the past. And I am telling you, I don't believe the way they believe. Show me in my book from my Jesus in the new covenant doing anything that would harm you. Now, since you keep bringing up the Old Testament of the laws that they had for their civil government and for their people, I will explain this to you again. The civil laws of the Jews were for them and that time. If you want to make this about the civil laws of the Jews, we can go through it. I think they ran their government quite well compared to the Egyptians, the Pharaohs, the Babylonians, and whoever else was there at that time. But I am not an Old Testament Jew. I am not commanded to check the fabrics, check my diet, or stone an adulterer. Remember, my Jesus starts the new covenant, and with his life, he goes,
Feel like, am I a fan of Jesus? Absolutely not. And I don't see how I could really support any sort of person who supports that particular false god and that doctrine, because it just does not gyrate or vibe with me in any way, shape, or form. I think that the God of the Bible is really not about love and peace and acceptance. I think that's actually Satan, our Lord Lucifer, who's actually preaching that. Like I said before, it's literally 2021, and the fact that we're having to still have this discussion that judging people for being gay or being born the way they are, or living in sin, whatever this sin is, because we don't really recognize sin. You can have morality and your own internal compass without necessarily having to literally give your soul, because they talk about how satanic witches and this and that love to make soul sacrifices. But that is pretty much, in our opinion, what it is when you're getting a baptism, is you're giving your soul over to this false god to live in condemnation and fear for the rest of your life. And you're giving away your individuality, your freedom, and your power. And as a witch, that's never something I'm going to do for any god, including Lucifer. I would not do that. But I would rather reign in hell with him than ever be a blind sheep of God, your false god, in my opinion.
Cool. I'll just speak the same time. You have a minute and a half. Here's the point. You have no definition of good and evil without our God. So I can ask you now, and I don't mind interacting as long as we don't speak over each other, because you had made the call that I wouldn't let you talk. So can we talk back and forth now? Is that okay? Because I don't want you to say I'm not letting you talk.
I would like that.
Okay, good.
Do that, yeah.
Sure. Okay. I can define good and evil by the God of the Bible, who I know who has spoken, revealed himself, and proved who he was by raising Jesus from the dead in history. How do you know good and evil?
I think good and evil is subjective.
Okay, so by your own definition, there is no such thing as good and evil. Subjective means it's not objective, correct?
Correct. I think most things are gray.
Okay, so then why are you upset about evil in the Bible if you don't believe in good or evil?
Because in my personal opinion, my morality tells me that a lot of what the Old Testament says, which I know that you are saying that you're not a follower, but keep in mind that that's what people associate with Christianity. You are saying that you kind of practice more of this new age, Jesus cult worshiping stuff. You're not saying that you're with the Old Testament.
But notice you answered the question. You got on a high horse of moral outrage, and yet you don't believe in objective good or evil. It's also
No, I believe it's personal. I believe what is
Yes.
normal for the spider is chaos for the fly. I personally believe that rape and murder and those things are evil, but that is me saying that.
Yes.
That is not me putting
So you have
words
no
into the
higher
mouth of
standard.
divinity saying that.
That's my point. So if you have no higher standard, then what's your problem with anything happening by
Because
those?
I'm allowed to have a standard myself
Let-
without
let me
having to
finish
have
the
it appointed
sentence,
by
please.
God.
Let me finish. By their standard, live and let live. That is their standard. You say it's subjective based on your opinions and your beliefs. That's their beliefs. So who are you to say that they're wrong?
What do you mean? I don't understand what you're saying.
You are upset about the Jews of the Old Testament. You're upset about Christian atrocities in the past. And I'm asking you, what is the objective standard that you use? You say, I don't have one. It's subjective.
No, I said it's my own. It's not that I
Yeah.
don't have one.
So
It's my
then
own.
you have no right to call anything evil in an objective sense. All you're doing is airing your opinion, like my children tell me their favorite pops. That's all morals are to you, is the taste of the person consuming or not consuming, correct?
I want
believe-
to I want
Hold
to
on,
piggyback off.
before you interrupt her, I want to honor her. She said we could go back and forth, so please honor her, let her speak. If morals are subjective and they are into the arbiter of truth is the person, then you are making art.
You are making subjective truth claims because someone does it over fashion, over hairstyles. How can you have any moral height on the scale? It's all just a matter of someone's opinion versus another opinion. It's like
They all stink.
I think that you've done a really good job at gaslighting and trying to twist what I just said. I think that's what you've done. And I think that's a testimony to a lot of this blind cult like Jesus worshiping nonsense where our
Notice you
words
keep
as
calling me a
witnesses
cult.
get
Notice how you
twisted.
keep calling me that. Notice how you do that. Is that your subjective opinion that I'm a cult, or is that an objective fact that I'm a cult?
No, that's my opinion. That's my opinion.
So
that you blindly
I could have an
worship these
opinion that
things.
you're in a cult. I could have an opinion you're in a cult.
I
You're
am in my own cult. Yes, I am.
I
I'm
could
in
say
a
you're
coven.
being washed into following something that's whatever you're saying about me. I could say bounces off of me and sticks to you. Then, right? So we
Yeah,
could,
and that sounds kind of like a witch's rhyme.
yeah. So
Mhm.
so in your world, then I just want to understand you so that I don't get accused of not understanding. You say I'm gaslighting. So in your world, you're just merely just getting off hot air about opinions. Then
That is not my creator. I don't subscribe to that. You can't
Yeah, who's
use
our
that as a
creator?
weapon against me.
do we have the same creator?
I don't believe that we do.
So in your world, who created me then?
That's really not my prerogative. I believe that there
Oh,
are
good.
multiple paths to truth. And
Yes.
if you subscribe to this ideology, then that could be your truth for you personally, but that's not my truth.
I'm asking you, who created me? Who created the world we live in? Who is or what is the creator? That's what I'm asking.
I personally believe that we've all come from darkness and that darkness is all things, that we all have come from dark matter, aka the universe, and that we've all emerged from darkness and we will return to darkness, be reborn through the darkness and incarnate again into the flesh. That is what I believe. I don't believe that there is a sentient creator at
Okay.
all.
Okay, so I want you to work this through with me. You came up with a truth claim. Now, is that truth claim of dark matter, is that subjective or is that objective?
That's my opinion.
Okay,
That's
so
my experience.
we
It
came.
doesn't have to be objective to be valid for me.
Okay, so someone else could say we came from the flying spaghetti monster, and it would be just as valid. Because
It would be for me. It would.
okay, so that's the difference between you and I. I am not giving what I believe is subjective truth claims. Do you think math is a subjective truth claim, or do you think that there are things in this world like math that are objectively true for all people in time?
The Bible, nothing about Jesus is objectively true just because you have a book that says it is, though. I
Okay,
have a satanic Bible too.
yeah, is that an objective truth claim that nothing about the Bible is true, or is that a subjective statement?
I think it's a mix of both.
Okay. Do you understand how it's easy to twist you up because you don't have a solid foundation? Could you be wrong about the dark matter? Could it be my God, not dark matter, and someone or a spirit confused you or deceived you because they get a last laugh from you by believing in that?
If that was the case, I would be happy to spend all of my days reigning in eternal hellfire, if that is the case.
I know you would rather reign in hell than be a servant in heaven, right?
Absolutely. Every single day of the week. Like it's not even a fear of mine. That's like me throwing the spaghetti monster back at you and being like, oh no, what if when you die, you become a giant meatball? It's ridiculous. That's not going to
understand the hell
affect
of the
you.
Bible, because you mock the hell of the Bible, but I don't think you understand it. You understand the hell of the Bible?
I'm not. Here's the thing. This church or cult or whatever it is that you're coming from, you're picketing like this little tarot reader at a metaphysical store. You're witch hunting. I'm meeting you with that same energy that you're meeting me.
Did we ever insult her, touch her property, or impede upon her business?
I'm pretty sure that you are insulting a lot of people's intelligence and spiritual paths by being up here.
Well, isn't that part of our freedom, is to let idiots be idiots as long as it doesn't violate law, hurt them, impede business, etc.?
I think that the danger about this perverse doctrine that you're teaching is it does promote violence. There's a large number of LGBT people who commit suicide every year because of this doctrine, because they're not accepted by their families. They're not accepted by their communities. And it's because of this perverse doctrine.
Accepted, and they're still committing suicide. It's a problem internally. So going back to your dark matter, you see, let me just explain to you. You believe you're smarter than the dark matter because you said that it's not a person. But yet
no, I believe we are the dark matter. I believe as above, so below, as the gods, so are we.
Okay,
as the universe, so are we. I believe we are incarnations of dark matter.
Yeah, I want
made sentient.
Okay, so you're now manifesting dark matter and intelligence, correct? Are you intelligently having this conversation with me?
What do you think?
I think you're more intelligent than dark matter. I don't care what you're made out of in the molecular level. I'm asking you where we came from and whose image we're in. So if you are the greatest expression of the dark matter, then explain to me where the dark matter was before you were here, before humans. Where did dark sleep, right? So I can explain that through the person of our God. I'm not here to ask you to believe it just because I said it. Look at the universe. Is it organized? Is it today being held together by laws? Where did those laws come from? It didn't come from you. But you have a mind. So where did your mind come from? Where did your expressions come from? Where did your beliefs and the ability to choose volitionally what you want to do, free will, come from? Because if you're not a believer in a God like us who gives free will, the atheists, our friends that are atheists, they say free will is an illusion. Dr. Alex Rosenberg, a philosopher from Yale, all of them now say free will is an illusion. Do you believe that? Probably not. You think you have a choice to sit, move, do whatever. This only is explained by a God of intelligence, not a God of matter. What say you?
Who created? How did your God get created?
God, by definition, is uncreated. That's the start.
Right. So dark matter, the universe, I can say the exact same thing.
Does dark matter have a mind?
I think that it is a non-sentient energy that creates.
Does energy have a mind?
I believe that it has a vibration and a frequency.
Okay, does it have a mind and intelligence?
I don't think it needs to have a mind and intelligence. Nations of the stars is my thing, though. And I have no problem or issue with saying that dark matter has existed for all eternity and that we will all return to the void as we've all come from the void. Just like you say, well, God is eternal. Who's to say that I can't have an eternal void or an eternal darkness? Who's to say that that is invalid because that's your personal opinion?
Because I've shown
You how it's invalid. You are using intelligence. You are using logic. You're using the gift of the mind to make points, which you're attributing.
dark matter by itself didn't do it. It's obvious. It's
Which is your opinion. Which is your opinion, though.
Say it again.
I said that is your opinion, though.
I'm demonstrating it as a fact. I can give it to you in a logical argument. All that has mind has come from mind.
It's not really a fact, though. It's an opinion.
If minds exist, they came from a mind. Here it is. If minds exist, they have come from prior to you. This is simple logic, my friend.
I don't subscribe to that, though. I don't subscribe
to logic, deductive arguments.
I don't think you can really talk about bringing logic into faith and spirituality when this is what you believe, though. Like, how are you going to talk about faith and logic? But we're also going to talk in the same breath about faith healing. Yes. But you want to talk about logic.
I know. All beliefs. Okay, let me finish and we'll change the conversation if you want. But just to finish this here, if we believe in an intelligent creator, then he or she
has a will for our lives. That's all we're saying. It's not that hard to imagine. So I don't know why it's hard for you to pick. When I can show you it has to be intelligent.
It cannot just be a force. And I'm waiting for that logical fallacy. Go ahead. And if you want to toss it to your friend, you can, but I wanted to honor you with your time. Go ahead.
I don't think that you're really grasping like the point of what I'm talking about or what's going on down here in the chat. But no, I don't think that you've made this up or that you've created this. I think that you're an incarnation of misogynistic men who have colonized, raped, and pillaged women and our divine sacredness for I don't know, however.
Now calling me names. I'm a misogynist, rapist, and all this after I've clearly distinguished myself from anything about that.
An incarnation of. I didn't say that that's what you are. I said that that's what you are an incarnation of, and that's what you are following. Because I can turn a lot of this right back to you and say, how is your God eternal? How is your God just exist from nothing and just always was? I could say at the same rate that doesn't make any sort of logical sense, but you believe that because that's what your opinion is, your personal opinion based off of a book. No. I'm assuming, right? But so that doesn't make any logical sense either, though.
I have a book that gives me the foundation for mathematics, Jasmine, but I don't need the book to show you mathematics. I have a book that says there's a beginning of matter, space, and time. I don't need the book to show you the beginning of matter, space, and time. That's why Christians are not afraid of science. You have a caricature of me, and now that you've run into a real Christian, you're having questions you cannot answer. It's not meant to insult you. I'm just saying you need to go back and study those things. I have given you reason to the fact of a personal creator. Now you're asking a different question of an eternal being, makes time, in other words, right?
And I'm saying that the cosmic abyss is timeless. And while you disagree with me that the cosmic abyss can create sentient life, that is your opinion. That is your opinion.
Yeah, but I've asked you, does the cosmic abyss have a mind? Does it have a volition of the will? You have a volition of the will.
I don't believe that even matters if it has a mind or not.
This argument because I put it in with morals. Morals to me are a fabric of the universe because God, the great mind who created us, made us as intelligent beings to be moral.
Why don't we let Aurora talk? Because she says that she has something to say.
No problem. Thank you. Aurora, go ahead.
I appreciate it. I'm sorry. It's just the argument. It's really late here in Germany. It's 2 a.m, so I just need to say what I need to say so I can get to bed. But respectfully, I respect everybody's opinions of who they believe in and what they believe in. So no offense to nobody here. I believe that the pastor believes in his belief and that's his truth, and we all believe in our belief and that's our truth. When I asked my aunt, who is a diehard Christian from day one, it's how she was raised, it's how she raises her children. She doesn't ever miss a church service, nothing like that. I asked her when I explored this path, when I started a year ago, I asked her if she felt that I would be condemned by her God, Jesus and God and, everybody like that in the Bible, if I would be condemned and go to hell. And she said to me this, her God, who she believes is the omnipotent, the only one, she said that he knows our intentions. And if our intentions are good, because the pastor was talking about morality, and if we feel like this is moral or if this is not immoral, I feel like she said that he knows our intentions. And if our intentions are good, then he would not condemn us. He would not judge us. However, I believe that's what she believes. And I believe that all of us believe what we believe. I don't believe that. Sorry, my point kind of got lost a little bit, but that's basically what I'm trying to say is that going back to the beginning of this debate was about morality. And we got into, this, that, back and forth. Morality, like the high priestess said, it is, right and wrong is subjective. It depends on the person and what their intentions are. If they're not intending to do something bad, but the other people look at it to be bad, that might not be their intention, but someone might view it to be that way. And that's just basically what I had to say. I don't really have that much, but that's what I had to say.
I'm glad that you did. Thank you for your patience towards the law. Don't change its power over us. There are laws that have power over us now, whether we believe, accept, love, want to tickle them or not. They have power over us. And I think morality is true to that. Go ahead. You want to defy gravity for me?
You believe that your Christian laws are on the same level with scientific laws?
Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely not. No, those are religious laws. Those are not factual scientific laws.
Yes, they are.
You can't really sit here on a high horse and throw logic and this, that, and the third at my religious beliefs and not also accept it for your own. The laws of the Bible are not scientific Or should they be legal laws? Let's also say that anyone's faith should not dictate governmental laws.
We agree.
If
with
I want to go have an abortion, you don't get to tell me I don't get to do that because you believe your book says not to.
I get to say, don't do it to the child because the child doesn't want you to. I get
It's
to.
not even sentient life, and it's my body.
It's sentient life.
It's my body.
Yes, the sentient life is there. I just wanted to show you this because
Maybe you're not as familiar with Christians that talk this way. We believe in the beginning.
statements of truth, everything that's true, whether you believe it or not, is grounded in a person. Those who are listening will understand this. This is called foundationalism. Christians are foundationalists, philosophically speaking. We believe that without foundation, nothing makes sense. It's like trying to build a house while you're skydiving. You are okay with that. You say subjectivism, my opinion, I'll go on with life, live and let live. You can do that, but just understand in your mind, while you're doing that, it is make-believe to the factual world around you. It is
Christianity is not factual, babe. I'm sorry.
Okay,
It's
how
not
about let's start with the first fact? Okay, let's start with the first fact and let's see if you can disprove it while I prove it. I'll bear the burden of proof to prove it. You say you can disprove it.
I'm not even trying to be on here trying to stray you away from God or get you to not believe in what you believe in, though. That is not my mission. And that is never any real witch's mission to try to convert anyone into our way of beliefs or thinking. That is not what we try to do. I am here trying to defend witches because you're up here picketing, pillaging, colonizing, and throwing messy shade on our name. That's what you're doing.
You think lying is subjectively wrong, or is it subjectively or objectively wrong to lie? Because I want to know how you feel about that first.
I believe lying is situational. There are situations where you should lie to protect others.
I appreciate the group conversation. I want one at a time. I'm asking you, Jasmine, is it wrong to lie? Jasmine, hold on, Jasmine. Please let Jasmine answer. Jasmine, is it wrong to lie?
Why don't you answer what I said, though, too? I told you I was up here trying to defend witches from someone who has been in the cult for over a decade, from a high priestess, from someone who practices all of these deep, evil, demonic things and working with negative spirits or demons. I'm defending that. I am here representing that. I am not here trying to
by lying. You said we colonize. You said we're colonizing. How are we colonizing? Going to a public sidewalk, talking about a business we disagree with, and then praying for that business. And
you disagree with it because this person is reading tarot and you believe that's going to take these people to hell.
Yes, that's a belief that we hold.
Not a fact.
Colonizers are not defined by the beliefs that they hold. You're not a colonizer because you have a belief about someone going to hell. You're a colonizer because your belief of someone being wrong then leads you to act and puts them under your subjection. I do not believe that. Therefore, I am not a colonizer. Are you a child sacrificer?
Those actions?
Are you a child sacrificer? Do you drink children's blood?
That's none of your business what I choose to drink.
Hold on. Do you drink children's blood?
That's none of your business what I do or don't drink. I'm saying that by you.
It should be an easy yes or no answer. Do you drink children's blood? Don't the people in the audience want to know whether or not you drink?
It promotes, you doing this promotes violence is what this does.
No,
it promotes hatred. It promotes violence. Whether I drink blood or not is really not even.
I'm asking you a question. Do you drink blood? Yes or no?
And I'm not going to answer it.
Okay. So for those of us
No, I don't.
Okay, but look at the difference. I can easily say no. My other friend can say no. You can't. That tells us a lot about you, doesn't it?
It says that that's really not the topic that we're discussing, though. Because you're going to try to demonize witches and make us out to be these hag-faced crones who eat babies, just like they demonize Lilith. So that's why I'm not giving you an answer on whether or not I drink blood, because you want me to be this radical, wild, untamed witch. That's what you want from me.
Joe, I want to ask.
Why is it you always want to say something right at the point where she's saying something? Let me just finish, please, and we'll come back to you. From anything that you keep saying we are, so who's the one really bullying who now?
No, you're not going to sit here and gaslight. You're not going to sit here and gaslight a bunch of witches.
No, I'm just
what you guys did, going to that tarot reader's place, doing the little picketing, the little prayer work, this, that, and the third. What would have stopped you from doing that at home?
We pray at home, and
Could you imagine the level of radicalism and the culture and how it would react if a whole bunch of witches came and started picketing and pillaging and rioting over a church? Because show me where that's happened. Show me
They
where witches
just
have
did
come out
that
to
to
a
our
church.
church. I don't believe you literally said that and thought it wouldn't be true. They just did that when we opened during the pandemic. They came and held up signs and protested in front of our church. I've had witches put curses on us. I don't know if they've actually drove to the church or not. But
I for sure believe witches have. Yeah, I believe that. I believe witches.
Okay, so then what's your point?
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with people using magic for a left or right hand purpose. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not the type of witch who has a rose quartz shoved up my ass and is worried about karma or the will of some god. That is not a concern of mine. I'm speaking also for myself as a witch. I'm not speaking for these other two witches who are up here.
What I'm trying to say is that if you want to talk to us about what we believe. I started off this conversation very open to learn what you believe and not placing on you the judgment of other witches and other folks. You keep placing on me a judgment that does not fit. And at the end of the day, you want that because it makes you look better. What we simply believe is in a God who creates.
I'm really not worried about how I look. Earlier, when you were asking me if I drink children's blood, I really could care less if people think I do drink blood, don't drink blood. I could care less how people perceive I, as an individual, might appear or look. That doesn't matter to me. Like I said, I'm here to defend witches and witchcraft from this sort of witch hunting incarnation that you are doing. That is toxic.
The same old. We'll have to move on. We are not witch hunting. We are praying for witches. Can I just say that for the 100th time? We are praying for witches.
Hey.
Other spirits are.
Hey, have any of you?
Hold on, before you interrupt, that's not how we're doing this. We're respecting each other. When you keep saying something that we're not doing, you're not loving us as our neighbor. We are trying to love you as our neighbor. I've never said anything about you intentionally that wasn't true. Now, can you do the same for me?
Hey.
Same thing. Hello, we're going to remove you now. That was my first warning. If you come back again, I'll let you do it one more time. But if you interrupt, then we'll ban you, okay? Play nice, don't go to the block party. Jasmine, I have not said anything untrue about you intentionally. I have said you may think you're doing the right thing. We talked about that at the beginning. I gave examples of how you may think you're doing the right thing, but be deceived. You keep saying that I'm in a cult, that I'm deceived, right? So we both have that perspective. What am I doing for you? Am I colonizing you? No. Am I wanting to harm you? No. I am praying for you and going to the places where I think you gather or places like that and asking you for these talks, dialogues, and to continue to do this. That's what I'm doing. That's our hope. If that business owner would have came out, we would have asked to pray for them and to ask to teach them about Jesus. That's what we're doing.
And I am in the metaphysical industry as well. And if you were to come to my store with this, I am working. You are coming to my place of business. That's weird. That is just flat out weird. That I'm here trying to support my family by doing what I do at our shop, just trying to live my life unbothered as I do day in, day out. And here is this group coming in literally like a witch hunt riot to sit and pray for me. If you want to pray for me, you can pray for me in the comfort of your own home.
I can pray as an American citizen wherever is public and where we do not disturb the peace. How many more times do we have to share this with you, Jasmine? You're saying something that is honestly not true. I'm going to put up the video right here again for those that maybe have come late because you keep saying something that is not true. I don't know what video you are watching. This is the video right here. Please watch it with us, right? Just for a few seconds. Be patient, everyone else. Thank you. Here is the video. We are on a public sidewalk praying. What about this is colonizing to you? Please use the evidence in front of you to make your point that it's colonizing. I'm ready to hear that, please.
I think it's attempting to radically convert people to your cult is what I think. And what would happen? Let's say you came to my business. Are you going to come knock on my door and say, hi, I'm with like these bunch of Christians here and we would like to pray for you? Is that what's going to happen? That's what you're going to do?
I would like to.
I don't
Yes.
assume that you're actually going to come to my business, but hypothetically walk me
Yes.
through how the
Yes.
situation would happen. You would knock on my business's door or come
Yes.
into my business and say, ma'am, I think that you're a dirty, dirty sinner and I'd like to pray for you.
No, we would not say you're a dirty, dirty sinner. As we have walked into other places, Jehovah's Witnesses, Catholic churches, Mormon temples, we would say, hello, we notice that you are here doing something X, Y, and Z. We are Christians. We believe something about X, Y, and Z. Would you like to hear what we think about X, Y, and Z? That's
And what if I said, no, thank you? Then what would you do?
I would say, thank you for your time. Would you like our information? And if you said no, we would say, thank you. You would never have to force us to leave if we ever did that. But once again, that didn't even happen in this video.
So then would you go outside of my business on a public sidewalk, which you have every legal right to do, and I'm not saying that you don't, but if I did not welcome your transgressions towards me, your religious transgressions towards me, and I did not welcome it, would you stand outside my business and cause a scene?
I would continue to pray outside of your business.
That's my point. That's colonizing. I'm not saying it's illegal for you to stand on a public street and cause a scene and pray and make a mockery out of me and people like me. But I'm saying that in my personal opinion, that is not appointed by a God, but is by my own divine opinion, that is unethical. I would not go to your church or your wherever and try to be like, hi, yeah, sir, do you have time to talk about our unholy mother of disgrace?
Okay, well, just hold on for a second. It's where your subjectiveness comes into play. The real word colonization has a objective definition. And that objective definition from the word you're using means the action or process of settling among and establishing control over an indigenous group of people or appropriating a place or domain for one's own use.
Yes, and you would be using my business as a way to appropriate
and
preach your doctrine.
Public property. Your business, do I have to look up the definition of public property? Your business is not public property. Now, let's ask the right question. Joe, would you appreciate if I did that Sunday? Not at all. Please come. Please, everyone listen to me. Please come Sunday. Stand on our sidewalk. Do not hurt or impede people coming. And pray, chant, do whatever you like. You have our permission. So I am being fair. Yes, I would do unto others as I would want done unto me. You may not do it. That's okay. That's not your thing. That's not your gig. Our gig is to go out and do things. That's
right, is to go out and convert people and support violence, because this religion is
violent. I'm going to stop you now.
Support violence.
I want to talk. You keep saying that, so I'm just going to stop you. We have never promoted violence, never have promoted violence. Do you promote violence? Is this a projection you keep putting on to us? Is this something that you do? Okay, I'll let you have the last word, and then we'll bring in go ahead. Thank you for your time. Anything else, Jasmine?
No, I think that's it. Thank you for having me on, though, and thank you for letting me talk. I do appreciate that.
No problem.
Daniel's in Babylon suffering because of what his ancestors did or didn't do before the God of heaven and earth. And now we're in this generation and we're wondering why a woman thinks she's a man trapped in a woman's body, cutting off working parts. We consider this normal. We're wondering why that these young adults are committing suicide. We're wondering why now on the south side is the most murderous part of the United States of America. And supposedly all the rioting, burning down was supposed to get the pain and anger out. And yet now, today, there is more murder there than there has been in any other city in America. This is our world. And we just scroll and we scroll. And then we see about the mother who just got captured after 10 years of evading authorities, who killed her twin babies. Same week. Same week. And you just scroll through what's going on. And they want to tell us to shut down the church and go online. This is not the time to go online. This is the time to be on the front lines. This is the time to stand up for Jesus Christ. And if they say, what happens if you catch COVID? I'm ready to meet Jesus and die. What are you waiting for? But I'll take my chance with something that's 0.05%. But I can tell you there's a 100% chance of fatality, of death.